Hi everyone, let's talk cause and effect. So there are a number of ways to structure a cause and effect essay. You could have one big cause leading to one big effect. Global warming is destroying the earth. You could have below that a cause leading to several effects. Climate change causes tidal waves and failing crops. And if you wanted a third or a fourth thing, or just two things. Yeah. You could have multiple causes leading to one effect. Predatory greed and lack of regulation lead to rising housing prices. This plus this is leading to one big effect. Or too many papers to write and too many different classes and working three jobs and taking the bus are all leading to my being stressed and exhausted. So these things I'm mentioning, of course, work as your outline, and also right there, the one sentence I said, that works as a thesis, right? So there would be your thesis and your outline. So these are all pretty clear argumentative essays with strong structures, and your choice how many causes or effects you wanted. You could also do a chain, as per the top right. Throwing garbage in the ocean poisons the fish, and that poisons the humans that eat the fish, and that leads to increasing levels of cancer, let's say. This causes this, which causes this, which causes this. Again, that could be my thesis, and then my whole essay could be the chain of one thing is causing the next, and that's, say, 4 example paragraphs, each supporting the one before. And I could also make it more of a loop, the one on the bottom right, where let's say I did exactly the same one about increasing toxicity in the ocean, and then we make lots of cancer drugs, let's say, and drop them in the ocean, making this more of a spiral. All right, I'm pushing it with that example, aren't I? But we could think of lots of examples where more radicalization leads to more hate speech on social media, which leads to more violence, which leads to more radicalization, which leads to more hate speech on social media, which leads to more violence, and it just keeps going in an endless cycle. And again, that could be my thesis. We're trapped in an endless cycle where hate speech leads to more violence, which leads to more hate speech and radicalization, and around it goes. So, those are all perfectly fine patterns. You could make a very straightforward 5 paragraph essay with just, there are 3 causes of why I'm having a bad week. Or, um, the COVID epidemic led to my having this problem, this problem, and this problem. There are 3 reasons I want to be a doctor. Or, my upbringing led me to 3 possible futures. I want to be a doctor or an engineer or a psychologist. So there's a lot of ways to set this up. Sample essays. Is Google making us stupid on the Atlantic? All right, we've got a quick, cute hook here if you know anything about 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is both a classic and rather dated now. Cute little hook about how I can feel my brain going, says the computer. So can I, writes the author. Something is remapping my brain. I think I know what it is. It is the internet. The internet is great, but it is rewiring our brains. And then we go, so that's basically the thesis. And then we get into the examples. Here are my friends who can't read books anymore. For the record, I can, but I've never stopped reading giant books while playing on the internet, so maybe that helps. Here's a blogger who describes how he's had issues with this. Here's a study. So you see one example per paragraph. Here's a study about how people do research now where they're doing less reading of the articles and more bopping from article to article, doing a quick little read of the summary at the beginning and then moving on and looking for keywords and just doing less reading. The internet is emphasizing efficiency and bullet points and summaries. And the more we emphasize that, the more we create this kind of writing, and the more we read this kind of writing. And there we are in that vicious circle again. Here are stories about how the typewriter absolutely changed how people wrote, and how other bits of technology have changed how we do things. The brain is very flexible. We're still making connections. We're still changing things. No, our brains are not set in adulthood. Here's an example about how creating the clock changed how we thought. We no longer said, I'll meet you a little after noon. We could, tell time in minutes and seconds and divide everything up. Which seems a little off topic, but as a metaphor emphasizing this, here we are. Discusses the Turing test, computers with personalities, and it discusses how different the internet is with all the click heres and ads and clickbait titles and so forth, and how that's so different from a more passive book. So we have so many different examples, little stories, details, specifics that are all supporting that one major point of the internet is rewiring our brains and making us read differently than we used to. One big cause, one big effect, but a lot of little examples. And that's what we've got going on there. Had a phone call there, net cut off. All right, so here's another essay, Why We Crave Horror Movies. This starts off with its own hook. I think we're all mentally ill, just those of us outside the asylums hide it a little better. When we pay our few bucks, remember those days, and sit down in a theater showing a horror movie, we're daring the nightmare. Why? Lots of reasons. To show we can, to show we're not afraid. We feel normal because it's a very conservative movie, and we go to have fun. So those are a lot of little reasons, but they all end up really being one big reason, which is it's okay to watch people being tortured and having horrible things done to them if it's only a movie, if it's only fiction. This is, it's disturbing to say the modern version of the public lynching, but here's Stephen King making his point that we have all these dark, uncivilized urges that want to see people hurt and struggling and tortured. And there are plenty of societally not okay ways to do that. But it is okay in our society to watch fiction about all this from well-paid actors being menaced by rubber tentacles and things. And he goes through all these examples just to make his point of it lets out our worst instincts, but only in a safe place. I think of the most aggressive films like Dawn of the Dead as lifting a trap door in the civilized forebrain and throwing a basket of raw meat to the hungry alligators swimming in the subterranean river beneath. Why? Because it keeps the scary alligators from getting out. All we need is love, okay, but you better keep those gators fed. So again, I would call this one big cause, one big effect. Because we need to feed our demons in a safe way, we watch horror movies. And we've got examples about, again, it's okay, It's so okay to make dead baby jokes. It's not okay to slam your sister's fingers in the door. We get punished for doing that. It's not okay to attack people, but it is okay to watch fictional people being attacked. Lots of examples. Again, one big cause, one big effect. Clear essay and clear thesis supporting it. So, these essays are what we're trying to do here. Good luck.